Hello everyone, I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this 10th day of September 2022. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated and Ag Risk Advisors. Well, I know a lot of you tired of the heat and dryness, and over the last 48 hours we saw big relief across the northern plains, the Rockies, even Southern California getting some rain and a break from the heat, as the very, very hot weather at the end of August into the first full 7 to 8 days of September, really quite intense across the West. But the remains of what was Hurricane K has brought rain to Southern California and parts of the desert Southwest and will through the weekend. This is going to put an end to the heat wave over the West. Not only is it K putting an end to the heat wave, but a strong cold front hit the northern Rockies on Friday, bringing in some colder temperatures, and that cooler air mass will spread across the central part of the United States, not only bringing relief from the heat, but some good rain fell across portions of Montana and Wyoming, the western side of the Dakotas, and even the first mountain snow has fallen in Montana and Wyoming from that system. We do expect that this change in the weather that has recently occurred will mean more moderate weather in the West. Not as hot, and better rain chances are coming next week, and I do think there's some help on the way for some of the areas suffering from the wildland fire activity in Idaho and parts of Oregon. Next week pattern should be more favorable for those areas with cooler temperatures and better rain chances. And that means it's not going to be as hot for the rest of September. I think while there certainly will be warm days left, we'll have them for sure, we're not going to see the type of heat that we saw here at the beginning of the month. Taking a look at the latest drought monitor, we can continue to see the worsening drought conditions in the last week in this area right here, while we continue to see lots of improvement in Texas over the last several weeks. You're going to see some improvement here due to the remains of K adding to some rain into those areas there, and maybe into parts of the Great Basin states as well. This is where the biggest change in the last week in drought status has occurred in Texas. Although they're going to see a drier pattern, certainly the last several weeks has brought big relief to Texas there and some parts of the southern plains. Over the last week, now this does not include the rain and snow that fell with the front up into this area right here late this past week. So that is going to change when we show you next week's map. But you can see how dry in the last 7 to 10 days it really has been in this area here until recently. And even the monsoon only producing scattered amounts of precipitation across the Four Corners area in the desert Southwest, while the heavier rains have been more in the southeast and eastern parts of the USA. And there's where the precipitation anomaly has been for the last week. But this map is going to look quite a bit different when we take a look at it next week. This is what will be unfolding. This is where we are right now. We've got the cold front in the trough digging in from Canada, allowing colder air from the Canadian areas to move into the central and western United States, into the central areas. This is what remains of K, making for a wet weekend in Southern California. And some of this will get into Nevada, parts of Utah and Arizona as well. As we look ahead, it looks like the hottest conditions will be right along the East Coast here, cooler weather in the midsection of the United States. And by next weekend, this is by next Saturday, the 17th, notice we've got another storm crashing into Washington and Oregon and eventually swinging eastward into the central and northern Rockies and then the northern plain states. So this is a pattern much more favorable for moderate conditions and better chances for precipitation. Look at this. Look at this area right here of rain coming over the next 10 days. This is where the fire areas of Idaho and Oregon could get some help from Mother Nature. Here's the heavier rains from the remains of K there, and some of that will get into the southern parts of Colorado and New Mexico as well later on. Not as wet, at least for the time being, in Texas. Our next update will be the 17th. Have a great week ahead.